So this is the Project Accelerator, Modern Project Accelerator Solution, or the PPM Accelerator. You start with a homepage that is leveraging out of the box charting that's available directly within Power Apps and Dynamics 365. In this case, for effect, we've created some. Again, if you were to download it, this will be available immediately. And once you start populating data, all these charts are going to light up. They can be changed depending on what you want to display. And they're also active in the sense that you can actually go directly into the record. So if we wanted to actually go into this financial summary and go into the records, we could go into it. You can see that it takes me to the projects that I have here, and then I can isolate by business unit what I want to see. So they are active in the sense that I can just focus on a set within my overall portfolio. I'll go back to home, so we can see that everything here is showing. It's based on the entities and attributes that are within the solution. You'll see that we have project requests here, we have programs, we have projects, resources, and reports, which are the elements that I showed earlier. If we go to request, within request, we have a form that allows us to generate a new request. This request in the accelerator is very simple. In other words, it doesn't have a life cycle. It does have a workflow that would allow us to move the project or convert the project between an approved state. Once we go through all the states, once it gets to approved, it will actually take the project and move it to our project inventory. So there is one workflow that's added here as an example, but again, it's only to highlight the capability that you can build within the solution using Power Automate, just right out of the box. The other component that we would normally add is, the life cycle might be shown at the very top here. Again, for simplicity's sake, that has not been included, but it's something that, could very easily be included. In terms of the metadata, you can see that it's priority and project type, owners, requesters. This could also be driving notifications, some narrative that you can include for your request. The scoring is based on the 4 criteria that's here. You can also change it, but it is scoring that drives the prioritization score that's included here. So I just updated that and got a higher score. In terms of financials, we have summary financials throughout the entire solution. At the request level, you can include that, which drives an ROI, and then additional criteria here, metadata in terms of funding availability or whether it's internal or external. You can remove these if you want when you use the solution. So our request views here, you can see that we have multiple views within the solution itself. There's groupings that have been added, and this will be more impactful when we go to the project request list. But again, this is our simple request list. By the way, we've made these editable, so you could easily change them if you want to. The editable grid is included, and if you wanted to remove that, you could remove it also from the view. So the next step is I'll go to projects and then I'll go to programs. When I go to projects, you can see that I have my entire list of projects here. I'll just group them by type. Again, a very simple way of achieving groupings by using the attributes that we're capturing for every one of the projects. These projects can get created directly within the tool, and again, it can come from requests, or they can actually be created directly. And here's a form that shows everything that we are tracking for a project. So that's really creating a new project. I'll go back to my existing project so you see what a completed project looks like. So we have here my infrastructure upgrades project with the metadata that we selected when we created the request, our project type, our business unit, and priority stage. Anything that we defined within request could have been brought directly here also. If we go to our business case, the scoring that I showed earlier will also be replicated here, and any narrative that you want will also be shown. For the accelerator, it's a very, very summary, high-level financial, so it doesn't really have the level of detail that you would require to do financial prioritization. Same with resources. There's really no capacity planning within the accelerator. All it does is gives you the summary resource assignments from the project plan that you develop in Project for the Web. In this case, we're using Project for the Web, so it's going to open and it's going to show me the task for my infrastructure upgrade. I think this is one of the benefits of using the solution, that now we have Project for the Web directly here within Power Apps. My assignments are being shown, and the rest of the field set within Project for the Web. I can also open it separately, so I can go directly if I want a bigger view, and this shows the power of new project, the ability to have project manager start dates, and we can get into specific WBS development of WBS. You'll note that we have now boards and the ability to develop boards, and we also have a timeline that where we can see the entire schedule. And it is an active Gantt, so we can actually move it, make changes to it, and that will also affect the schedule. There is a specific task detail that's available with dependencies you see here showing. Recently, there were additional fields that were added, by the way, which is something local to the project, but you can create new fields. This is a new capability, a new feature that was just released by the product team. So for anybody that hasn't seen Project for the Web, this is exactly what it is in terms of its ease of use directly within Office 365. Getting back to our Project Accelerator solution, you can see that we have risks, issues, changes, status. You can come in and define your red, amber, green indicators. Purposely, the solution has been left without any code, so you can add additional capabilities to put in your stoplights, but specifically, we wanted to leave it, fairly out of the box, plain vanilla, and allow an organization to, make changes accordingly. Here's a status report, very nice status report that will then show in our reports. So again, all part of the accelerator solution. So I'll just quickly go to programs, which basically defines sets of projects. You can see that we have some counters here within our program health. We have our different views within programs. I'll go to the cloud infrastructure upgrade program. You can have a program owner as well as a manager, a program type, and all of these obviously can be changed to your context. Financials will define program financials, and then we'll add cumulatively the individual project financials that have been defined for the project. You can status the program itself, and here are the projects. So when we define the projects, we place them in a program, and that's how they become part of the grouping. We have programs here. It was purposely shown as programs instead of portfolios, but it can easily be changed to portfolios. And also, if you wanted to have programs and portfolios, you can have both. So you can have multiple levels. And we'll go from here. I could go directly into my project, again, the infrastructure upgrade project that I just showed. So resources is just a list of our resources, so you can see that we're missing some capabilities in terms of resource capacity planning. And then finally, reports. There is a Power BI content pack for the accelerator. You have to add it, but essentially it does give you all the data that you have captured through the solution in a nice set of Power BI reports. And you can see that it goes from request all the way to individual my work timeline that shows my work and timeline that shows the assignments that have been made to individual folks, individual resources that you have within the projects. I'm going to go to a couple here that are, fairly interesting in terms of seeing, even at this level, again, highlighting just the basics. You have an idea of the projects, who's the project manager. In this case, we have two project managers, primarily Linda Holloway and Meg Bowen. You can see start, finish states, progress. It's interesting because we can even at this basic level, we can very easily see where there might be issues in terms of projects not having not progressing as they should based on their effort, task, late tasks, and so on. I'll go to financials real quick. And you can see that even with this basic approach, you can start tracking variances and seeing if you're in line, even if your forecast is going to be over your budget, and try to take some corrective action. ROI looks like it's still going to be okay, even though we have a budget variance based on our forecast. I'll hit a couple more before I move to our next part of the demonstration. Again, portfolio timelines, basically showing what the collection, the set of projects that's coming from project for the web. All of these have filters, so if you wanted to focus on a specific set or a specific project manager, you can do that, just like you can in any Power BI report. So that is the Project Accelerator out of the box. Again, just taking the basic elements that were created in order to initiate the BPM solution in Power Apps project for the web. So how can we actually address the additional set of requirements that I talked about? So this is where OnePlan comes in. And for effect, what we have done is literally use exactly the same accelerator solution and then added those components to highlight those additional capabilities that complete the story for your modern portfolio management. So the first thing you'll see is we have the same charts, but then we have my work and my timesheet. So if I'm interested in, if your organization is interested in having folks update tasks for team members that have been assigned, you have these two new capabilities that OnePlan provides. And here, me into the solution. Any team member that has received assignments is going to have the ability then to have those tasks shown directly within the tool. So in fact, this could be really the only, outside of working in teams, which you can also put this in teams, this could be, their primary way of coming in, marking things complete if needed. If you're interested in having a timesheet, we do have, managed time periods also available within the solution. The components in this configuration, the components of the accelerator have been left pretty much the same. So I'm not going to go through that. You can, add additional capability here if you even wanted to put financials and resources at the request level, which is I'm about to show is one of the benefits of using OnePlan. Programs and projects are pretty much the same. The only difference is that here you can see that we've added the tabs for financial plan and resource plan. And so it's essentially the same, but the big difference is that now we have the ability to fully develop a detailed financial plan for a project. You can see that we have CapEx and OpEx also showing here because this is one of the capabilities. So what you're looking at right now is OnePlan financials. And OnePlan Financials, again, allows you to get to this level of detail at any level of your planning hierarchy. So if you wanted to have financials for your programs or your portfolios and then summarize individual project elements that contribute to those planning levels, you can do that using here. We can manage budget, forecast actual benefits. In fact, if you wanted to also manage your capital approval process, you can do that. So it's quite extensible in that regard, and it uses Power Automate to drive any of the workflows. In terms of the time frame that you want to see, if you want to look at it on a monthly or quarterly basis, if you're doing program planning, you can do that also. In terms of being able to do comparisons, you can see here that we have the ability to compare your budget to forecast, budget to actuals. So it's very powerful in your ability to do analysis of your spend. And then finally, if you want to import or export, there's additional capabilities here. So again, at an individual project level, you have a fair amount of capability to develop your financial plan. When we get to resources, that's really probably the most important component that we hear customers looking for. You're going to be developing a resource plan for the project item. So in this case, you can see that I have a number of resources. We allow you to plan at different iterations. So you could be first, when the project first comes in, the resource plan of committed resources could be developed. This could come actually as early as the request, by the way. Then the project manager is going to receive it and develop the schedule directly within project desktop or project for the web, or really any other planning solution. We do have the ability to also compare it against timesheets, but really the concept is that you're planning top down initially, then a project manager is going to receive it. You can see that we actually do measure capacity and the allocation of the resource over the time frame, and we can manage hours, percent, or FTE when we do this. So if you're really looking to do FTEs, you can do that also. So we're looking at the schedule view. So the project manager, is actually developing the schedule and using these resources. You'll note that as I move forward, I can compare different time frames that I might be planning, and also different increments, whether it's month, quarter, or year. More importantly, I can compare committed to schedule, which means if I provide a project manager with a certain amount of resource capacity, are they actually using it in their scheduling? So you can do that comparison here. This will become more important later when we aggregate all this information and then see the overall picture of the portfolio and resources. I'm going to hit on work plan here real quick, just to show that when using OnePlan with the accelerator, we combine it with any of the scheduling experiences that you might be using. So in this case, I can connect to anything that I might be doing in Project for the Web or Project Desktop directly, and it will show within OnePlan, and also aggregate the data for reporting to that project element that's within the solution. And it's not shown here, but we could also, in fact, I'll just show a backlog, because we also have the ability to do backlog and connect Azure DevOps if needed. So there's nothing here, but if I needed to, I could connect Azure DevOps or Jira or any other agile planning tool. So it's, again, transforming means bringing on any and all the tools that the organization is utilizing to add value to customers through your portfolios and programs. I'm going to go now to the portfolio perspective, which is really where OnePlan portfolio comes in. And you'll see here that we have analyzers. This is where we do our prioritization exercises. So all the projects that are created will be shown here. You're looking at OnePlan portfolio. At the very top, you can see that we can use lists in order to view all of the project information. We can use boards in order to get a more Kanban approach to the portfolio, and even in an adapter form, if you wanted to do program planning, you could do that here directly. And then finally, roadmaps that show you how you're going to be delivering projects across different planning horizons. We do have the ability also, by the way, to have Power BI, which would be similar to what you saw before, but with a richer set of information. Within our toolbar, we could be looking at different timeframes when we turn on our Gantt, which is another capability that we have directly here. I can zoom in or out depending on what I want to see. So I'll go quarterly in order to go into a more program planning by quarter. I'll show in a second how we can prioritize. And then for prioritization, we also leverage the aggregate resource plans and financial plans that we develop from the individual projects. So let's get started in seeing some of the capability here. And I'll turn off for now my Gantt. So in terms of groupings, any of the metadata that you are managing with each one of the items can be shown here. So at this point, I'm doing it by business unit. But if I wanted to, you can see that I can do it by portfolio. I could do it by, let's go ahead and do it by portfolio, Cloud Mobile first, and appeal to a younger demographic. They are summary values when we're aggregating items within portfolios. This is a modern experience, so I can easily change the views if I'm a manager or contributor, and I can easily change the values that are directly within the forms. In terms of being able to complete or add, add a new view or create a new view, it's just as easy as coming in, adding an additional column, and then saving my view. So again, very easy to manage the application. I'm going to go real quick here to my prioritization view. Select the lean prioritization because we do support lean prioritization if you're interested in doing any of the more modern prioritization methods. You can see here that I have a prioritization score that came from the same criteria that we defined. Again, this can change, and it's directly here if you wanted to actually make a change directly on the screen. We have budgets, benefits, and ROI. But really, when it gets interesting is when I say, okay, I can turn on prioritization, and depending on that criteria, I can decide to, move or rearrange my project. So we have here a project that has a very high score. We have a couple here that are very high scores that are proposed that I might want to move them up. So I can simply pick up the project and give it a higher rank within my entire set. So now we have our new proposed project that I can make active as simple as doing that change. Now the additional elements that I would want to do is, well, let's look at resources. So here's where having our resource plans well defined and aggregated, I can get to a picture to see, well, am I going to be able to perform that project? And I can look at all of the projects that all of the resources that are within the organization and see we have a conflict here for Peter Gregory. Is he actually working on the project that we approved? He's not. So, we're okay from that standpoint. We can keep going down and see. Again, it looks like we're fine because we have resource allocation issues, but it's not going to affect Pied Piper Corn, which I just approved. There's additional capability to And I'll go and show that now. To do what if scenarios using my resources. So I'll go ahead and turn on my Gantt and turn on my resources. And I'll summarize this by quarter. Another element that you could do is literally move the projects and create a scenario. So, for any of the proposed projects that we have here that we would want to include, you can actually resequence them and then see what the impact is on your resource management. So additional what if capabilities for seeing if you're going to be able to resolve over allocations by moving your projects. We could go directly, by the way, into the resource plans. So they're all listed here, and then also make direct changes if we wanted to actually replace the resource plans. And I'll show that in a minute. But from a what if standpoint, this is where we would show the resource allocations as we change the time frame on our projects. So we can also do financials, and we can also do targets. So I'll go ahead and show a budget with a target by month, and you can see here that like all the projects that have financial plans are being summarized here. Similarly, I could resequence them in order to see if I'm going to have a favorable impact on my budget. And the other, by the way, is simply say, well, we're going to have to just not do that right now. So that's another action in the what if scenarios. And you're creating a scenario, so you're not actually changing anything. And you can come here and then save that scenario if that's what you're looking to do. We could come here and look at scenario 1, which has already been saved, and see how that plays out in terms of my financials. So that's really the what if capability of the solution. Something else that I want to highlight, we do have the ability to have a planning hierarchy, and that's really important. So if you wanted to have your program portfolio and different types of projects here, you can see that we're managing Waterfall and Epic and Agile together. You can do that within the solution. So that's OnePlan portfolio in a nutshell. I'm going to go and look real quick. Since resource plans are so important, I'll just go ahead and show you that you can actually affect the resource plan directly. And what that is having the ability to see who's working on what, make changes, and then if needed, even come and replace a resource on a particular project. So you can do that directly from here, and that more of a resource manager capability in terms of finding resources and replacing resources. So in terms of reports, it's very, very similar. We're looking at, you're leveraging Power BI in the same way that the accelerator showed to get insights from everything that's within OnePlan. Couple of more capabilities you see there that I highlighted the boards within OnePlan portfolio. So if you're interested in moving in the direction of using Kanban to represent the flow of value, here's the beginning first steps to doing that, which means developing your process steps for your categories and doing Kanban boards. We can do priority by portfolio, and you can see that we have within the cards have data, so you can change the labels. It's extremely flexible. Within the toolbar here, you can see what's actually showing and everything that you have to see what's going on within your portfolios, in this case by priority, by portfolio, and by health. And if at any time you wanted to actually see what's going on within an item, you can go directly into it. that data is editable. So these are, again, modern reactive forms directly within the board. I'll hit roadmap just to highlight that we do have that capability in terms of being able to show, again, against planning horizons, what's being delivered when. In this case, we're looking at projects by business unit, by quarter, and we are seeing everything that's within our portfolio. So as you see, OnePlan with the Project Accelerator completes your portfolio management capability. So it's very compelling in terms of being able to get this started very quickly by leveraging the OnePlan solution.